post thoughts to this album on my own. OMO by Dom Corleo. Dom Corleo, first of all, knows how to structure a project very well. I was very glad to see that this was 16 songs. It was a well put together track list, and there's not too many people that can do that in the underground. And that's the reason why I like guys like Ty Fontaine. Their projects are put together so perfectly and so carefully, and it makes me like the artists a lot more and respect them a lot more, and I just think they're a lot better when they're able to do that. The first half, I was like, okay, the singles were definitely the best songs, because I thought Wake Up is one of the best songs this year. I still stand by that. I think Benny X Filthy went absolutely crazy. It's one of the best beats this year. But even I liked what he did on Bottle Girl and shit. Kind of on his Drake shit, not exactly, but he kind of just did the more chill melodic rap stuff on a few songs, which was cool. But he even did his kind of Playboy Cardi biting on Chester Perry, but I respect that because he's stepping out of the box, trying something new. The track list doesn't sound the same every single song, right? At least he's doing something new, and I kind of see the potential in songs like that, and I believe it was Kids was one that has super distorted beat, but it's like, if something like that clicks or works for you, the song probably sounds really, really cool. But on the first half of the album, I thought Penthouse Shorty was definitely still going to be like a standout, because I felt like his rapping performances on the singles, he just felt like he had more presence on the track. He felt very comfortable. He kind of had like that hunger and shit, and I didn't really see too much of his rapping be as good as they did on the singles, except for the end of the track list, which was actually super, super good. Lyrically, I guess I don't want to dive into it too much. I made the joke earlier that I don't think that he needs to be like Kendrick Lamar or anything, right? I'm listening to Dom Corleo. He does kind of like recycle lyrics. It's kind of like the same subject matter a lot of the times. I'm okay with that, but I do feel like he was talking about, you know, smoking blunts, fashion, girls, getting head, blah, blah, blah. Like, I felt like a lot of the same lines came back to back to back over and over again, the same thing. I did think that there was some good one-liners and shit in there. I'm not listening to the lyrics too crazy. It doesn't bother me that much, because I think that his style, his aesthetic and everything is perfect. I think he had a great rollout leading up to this project. I mean, he's a guy who's compared to Destroy Lonely a ton, but if I'm being honest with you, he just gave us a better project than Destroy Lonely, and I can comfortably say that because, well, I know that I'm going to be spending time with this project and that it has hit songs on there and that there's experimentation on here. I think Dom Corleo perfectly had a great, unique cover art, his own style. He kind of brought his own type beats to the next level. They're actually used well on this album. He has his own style in his own beats and in his music. And then when it comes to the actual album and music, I think that it was structured very well. I thought that there's a couple bangers on here in the first half. I thought he mixed up. He tried to do melodic stuff, experiment on a few songs. But even like in the middle of the album, he kind of let this song that's 4 minutes long rock for a little bit longer. It's kind of just a vibe song, kind of used the sample and everything. I thought the Young KO feature song was alright. It wasn't anything too crazy for me. It was actually the song featuring Fumigaro, I think is how you say it. I did not expect the British accent, and so I will be checking that out just because I love British rap. I think it's hilarious and fun to listen to. But even some songs like Sky Harbor, Sunset Strip, they're just different. I like that they were shorter and that he didn't drag everything on in the track list for so long. He showed his versatility really well on this album. And like I said earlier, when it came back to his rapping performances and everything, I thought that 666 was kind of a comeback to that. And then also on Shoot At It, he finally used repetitive, lyrics and choruses, but it worked for him because that was the only time he really did that on the album. 2016 was amazing. I thought that was kind of like a Teen X Ken Carson type beat, I guess, and I think he did that on maybe one of these songs at the end. It might have been Sky Harbor. I might be wrong, but either way, I thought the instrumentals were really cool because there was a breakdown at the end of the album on 2016. There was a breakdown on the end of Rockstar Drugs. Shit that just makes you like transcend, appreciate the album more. Just let things breathe for a second, and I really appreciate Dom Corleo for giving us a well-structured album. Maybe I'm enjoying this a lot more in the fact that he was able to pull something off like this, because a lot of underground artists can't do that. Like I said with the Destroy Lonely comparisons, if we're going to compare him to Destroy Lonely and that he's a lone clone and all these memes and everything and all the hate that Dom Corleo gets, he's out here giving us better projects than Lone is, if I'm being honest. Because if you look at If Looks Could Kill, which I made a really cool review to, if you guys haven't watched that, make sure go check that out on the channel. And I think the problem with Lone is like he dragged it on for so many tracks. If Lone would have cut his album in half, that would have been a fucking classic album. Not only in like the underground scene or in Opium or whatever, it would have been a classic album because he had the ability, like there's hit songs on If Looks Could Kill. There's amazing songs. He had the whole theme down, the cover, the short film, the whole rollout, a hit single. I mean, Lone did everything perfect, right? But he just made it too long, and he didn't experiment enough, and he made it super boring. But with Dom Corleo's album, I think he experimented enough. He gave us different vibes. I absolutely love when an album at the end of it, you know, makes me have more questions, and I love when an album, you know, I want to jump right back into it after I listen to it. And that's what I got out of Dom Corleo. I see a lot of potential in this album, and off first rip, I can tell you it's better than Summer's album Ghost, at least better than that one. It's probably better than Looks Could Kill. So I'll probably, I mean, my rating's going to change, but I could probably go like a 6.5 or 7 just off first listen. I could see this growing to be a possible album of the year or one of the better albums this year. I think Dom killed it, dude. But that's kind of like my initial thoughts on the album. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the album so far. And I think that it's got a lot of potential. I think it's a great album. So shout out Dom Corleo.